Hey folks, Marcus Sheridan here. Have you ever wondered, how can I create the perfect segments or sections of a talk? Is there like a formula for that? Well, there is. You see, at world-class communication, we have these events all the time around the world, and sometimes we do workshops for companies and sometimes we do big events. And always, one of the big surprises of the room is when we tell folks, if you're trying to create a great presentation or a great talk, you don't really want to set out to create this 60-minute presentation. Instead, create segments. A segment is a block of time that has one major point. It could be 5 minutes, it could be maybe 10 minutes, it could be 2 minutes, but it has one major point. But how do you create that segment in a formulaic-like manner to get the greatest results? Well, upon studying this for about, 20 years and giving so many workshops, I have found there's 4 essential parts to a great segment. The first part is this. You start with a question. And when you start with a question, this is what it does. It makes the audience reflect. It makes them think about how they themselves behave. And if you can do that, you're on the right track. Once you've started or planted that seed, now you share a story that aligns itself with the principle, with the question. Because of course, we learn best, more often than not, with the power of story. Story is what crystallizes. So we start with the question, then we share the story, and then the third element of a great segment is the result. What happened? And that has to be clear. It needs to knock them on the head. In other words, some of you may have heard me talk about the principle of cost and price before. And when we talk about result, I always climax with that moment when I say, and because we wrote that one article, it generated $3.5 million in sales that we would not have had we not addressed that simple question. But you don't just stop with the result. You always have a challenge. And the way we follow that one with the challenge is we say, so based on what you just heard, is it possible that you talk a lot more about cost and price on your website? At which point the audience, because we led to that point, always says, yeah, it's possible. And then I say, and that's my challenge to you. Address it. And if you address it, this will become a strength. It will generate trust, traffic, leads, and sales because almost nobody else in your space is doing it. That's the essence of a segment. 4 simple parts. Ask the question that makes them think. Tell the story that crystallizes the whole thing. Give the result, the payoff of the story. But don't just leave it there. Leave them with a challenge. If you do this, you have a powerful segment, you have influence, you have impact. My friends, that is the essence of world-class communication.